Hi, this is Mrs. Tucker, and I wanted to give a brief overview of how I need you to open your flute case. So first thing you do is sit on the floor and make sure that your case is face up. Usually the name of the flute will be on the top. The main thing is that you want to, when you open the latches, for it to open just the top part, and so you're not spilling the flute out. I'm going to do this backwards so you can see. My case, I push the latches to the outside and then lift up. Some of you might just have the regular latches. When you assemble when we first start playing, we're going to be playing with only this top part, the head joint. But when we do start to assemble the flute, we will be using all three pieces, and we will start from the bottom and build up. The bottom piece is the foot joint. It is the smallest of the three pieces, and it has keys on it. So what you do is you'll hold it in one hand where the keys are facing out. So you have the part of the back of the flute where there are no keys in your palm of your hand. I put it in my left hand. Then you want to lift up the body of the flute. That's the biggest part. Up at the top or the neck of the body where it doesn't have any keys. And then you're going to gently twist the pieces together. When you assemble it, this rod on the foot joint is going to line up with the center of the bottom key. If you line up the two rods, then when you try to play, your pinky has to stretch all the way back here. So we line that rod up right with the center of the bottom key. Then I'm going to transfer it to my left hand, holding the neck. And I'm going to take out the head joint. There are no keys, so you just grab it at the bottom, and then you lightly twist it together. With the head joint, you're going to want to line up the hole with the first key on the body. And what flute players usually do is we can close one eye and look down our flute to line it up. With your head joint, you want to not push it all the way in. It's hard to see on my head joint, but the neck of the head joint is this wide. So when I put it in when I put it into the body, I put it in about halfway. And what that does is it affects the tuning. If you push it all the way in, you're going to be extremely sharp, meaning you're above the pitch. Putting our fingers on it is a little bit more complicated. I always build from the bottom up. So I have my head joint facing up towards the ceiling. It's kind of out of the screen, and I just set it on my leg. My pinky goes on this top pinky key on the foot joint, and then my ring finger I'm going to call 6. I number my fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have my pinky and then 6, 5, 4. My thumb is going to go underneath the flute or on the back of the flute, right between my first 2 fingers of my right hand. And then I'm going to place my left pinky on the pinky key, and I do 3, the key right above it. There it is, sorry. 2, the key right above that, and then I'm going to skip a key and I'm going to put my first finger. Now you notice I kind of pull my hand back because I have to have my first finger hooked against the flute. And then my right thumb is going to go on the thumb key right here, which I call the bar. You have the teardrop and the bar. And that is, that's our home key position. And so we will practice that a bunch, and then you bring it up to your face. So in the beginning, all I'm going to want you to do is practice putting it together correctly, positioning your fingers on the home keys. I will put a mouthpiece patch where your thumb goes, or some kind of sticker, and where your index finger goes, so you have those guide points. Okay? When you disassemble, what I like to do is take the foot joint off first. So I'm grabbing at the neck and the bottom of the foot joint, and I'm lightly twisting. I'm going to carefully lay the entire flute down. And then your flute should come with a cleaning rod. It looks like a huge sewing needle almost. And you're going to take a cloth and you're going to feed it through I have a different kind of cleaning cloth, but we're gonna pretend that this is just a cotton cloth. You're gonna feed it through a little bit and wrap it around the cleaning rod, and you're just gonna push it in and twist it a little bit. And the reason why I start with the foot joint is it's gonna have the least amount of condensation, so it's gonna keep my cloth a little bit drier as I clean. And then I'm gonna put that foot joint in the case correctly. It only goes in there one way. And then I'm going to take off the head joint, lay that down, and I'm gonna repeat the process that I did with my foot joint with the body. Now I'm gonna have to kind of do each end separately because the cloth won't go all the way through. So I'm gonna make sure I have all the condensation out, and then I'm going to carefully set the body joint back in the case. Again, it only goes one way, don't force it. And then last but not least is the head joint. It doesn't go through to the end because right here at the top of the head joint is a piece called the crown, and what it does is it holds a piece of cork inside your head joint. And so your cleaning cloth will only go up to the cork. I also seem to get a lot of condensation right here in the embouchure hole, and so I kind of clean that out as well. And then I carefully place the head joint back in the case. Again, there's only one way that it goes. I never put my cleaning cloth in the case with the flute because it's going to be damp, and the whole point of cleaning it out is we want to keep the flute as dry as possible. So if your case has a handle on it, you can tie your bandana onto the handle and it will dry out a lot better. And then you close your case up and you're done. I want to point out a few things again with the names of the parts. So we have our foot joint. You need to be aware of where the pinky key is on the foot joint. On the body joint, you want to be aware of the thumb keys and the pinky. And you'll notice I have an open hole flute. This is the kind of flute that I would love for all my students to have. And I have the offset G. If you'll notice, the keys don't go in a straight line. G is fingered thumb 1, 2, 3 pinky, and the ring finger with the offset G can fit a lot more easily and naturally than if I have to stretch it up for an inline G. And then with the head joint, it actually has more pieces that I need you to know. So this is the head joint. I already talked about the crown. This whole piece right here is called the lip plate, and what holds the lip plate to the head joint are risers. They're actually pieces of metal that kind of push the lip plate up a little bit from the head joint so it doesn't rattle against so that lip plate doesn't rattle against the head joint when you're playing and creating vibrations. My head joint is actually a little bit more professional and specialized because I have a 14 karat gold riser. And then you have the embouchure hole. So again, the head joint, crown, lip plate. The part that holds the lip plate to the head joint is the riser. If you want to think of it rising up the head joint, the lip plate rising up from the head joint, to remember that. And then you have the embouchure hole. Embouchure is how you form your lips to play. And that's it.